syphilis, gonorrhea. I really wish you wouldn't talk about such things at a party. I mean, really, it isn't very polite, is it? I mean, if I ever, I would just die.
Syphilis? Gonorrhea? Yeah, I heard some of the boys came back with something like that. Me? I don't worry. Just a little old shot and zip. You're cured.
Syphilis? Gonorrhea? Well, I hear it's a real epidemic. All the kids have it.
Syphilis? Gonorrhea? Me? Too old. I'm through with that sort of thing. Besides, it's not my problem.
It's not my problem.
Not my problem.
It's not my problem.
Not my problem. Not my problem.
It's not my problem. It's not my problem. It's not my problem.
Not my problem.
No, it's not my problem. It's not my
Syphilis, gonorrhea, yes, they are a problem. Yes, venereal disease is at epidemic proportions in this country. Yes, syphilis and gonorrhea can be easily cured if the problem is taken to a professional in time. So, what's the problem? It always happens to someone else. And polite people don't discuss the subject, much less get it. And they die of shame when they do. And it only happens to younger people. And maybe 1 out of 4 has any real knowledge and understanding of the situation. Just listen.
I know you should get treated. But I heard that once the sore goes away, you don't have anything to worry about.
If you insist on talking about it, let me tell you this. If I ever got it, it would be the end of me. I mean, once you get it and don't get treated right away, forget about it. Why, by the time I got up enough courage to go to the doctor, I just know I'd be dead.
Nah, my buddies don't worry about it. Some of them have already had it. Once you had it, you're immune.
Misconceptions, misinformation. VD's been around a long time, and so have the legends. That's another part of the problem. People haven't been educated, and as a result, some 2 million Americans contract the disease annually. Venereal disease is caused by germ-like organisms. The gonococcus, a coffee bean-shaped germ causing gonorrhea, was discovered first. Then, in 1905, scientists isolated the spiraling syphilis organism, or spirochete, and for the first time, mankind could learn the true nature of venereal disease. Both organisms are sensitive to air. They die unless they have a nice, warm host, a human body, in which to live and flourish. They pass from body to body by close, intimate contact, sexual contact.
Eddie was the only man I ever made love to. And when he told me he had the clap, I just couldn't believe it. I didn't want to come to the clinic. I don't seem to be sick or anything. Nothing seems wrong. I just couldn't have anything wrong with me. I just know.
No symptoms, she said. Well, that's part of the problem. Even people who have symptoms are reluctant to come in for treatment. What makes syphilis and gonorrhea such threats to society are that the two diseases often hide behind the mask of other diseases, all the while wreaking havoc within the body. Let's take a look at gonorrhea first. It's a fairly simple disease. Gonorrhea attacks the moist mucous membranes in the urethral tube, perforating the tube. And as the body fights the infection, pus begins forming and dripping from the penis 3 to 8 days after infection. Now, this is accompanied by painful, burning urination. When the male notices the yellow, thick pus or a painful, burning urination, he immediately knows he's been infected. The problem is the woman. The gonococcus bypasses the woman's urethral tube and heads straight for the reproductive organs, attacking the mucous membrane around the cervix. But the cervix is insensitive to pain, and the woman may not realize that anything is wrong. But like in the male, the body begins to fight off the infection and pus is produced. But the female may not recognize the discharge for what it is, and the disease continues to spread. Through the womb and into the fallopian tubes, the process may take several months. When the disease attacks the lining of the tubes, the woman may become aware of the presence of the disease within her body. The attack can be painful, and she may notice pain in the lower part of her pelvic region, and may be unusually severe around the time of the woman's menstrual period. When the tubes become infected and the infection results in pain, the process is medically called PID, or pelvic inflammatory disease. If untreated, the gonorrhea causes the tubes to become scarred and closed, leading to possible sterility. The disease can also spread from the reproductive organs to the bloodstream, where it can cause serious infection or blood disease, or it can be transmitted by the blood to other parts of the body, causing joint disease or other problems. Although gonorrhea is not inherited, the baby passing through the infected birth canal can catch the disease, which may lead to blindness. Syphilis, though much less common than gonorrhea, is more to be feared. It's a killer. If left untreated, the disease has 3 distinct stages, each stage having characteristic symptoms. The primary, or first stage, is characterized by the appearance of a painless sore called a chancre, appearing at the exact point the disease enters the body. In men, the sore usually appears on the penis or scrotum and is fairly obvious. In women, the sore may appear on the outside of the sex organs where it will be noticed, or it may be found inside the vagina where it may not be seen. Whether treated or not, the chancre will disappear within 1 to 5 weeks, but the disease continues to live inside the body. The infected person may show no symptoms until the second stage, when it may show up as a rash, a fever, or a general feeling of ill health. These symptoms will also disappear within time, lulling people into a false sense of security that the disease has been cured. Far from being cured, however, the disease continues to live within the body, where it may cause no symptoms for many years. Later in life, the disease may then reappear in what is called the third or life-threatening stage and can cause madness, blindness, heart disease, and even death. In addition to infecting men and women, syphilis can be transmitted through the blood of an infected mother to an unborn baby, causing what is called congenital syphilis. The baby can be born deformed or dead. Both syphilis and gonorrhea are usually transmitted by intercourse. They can also be transmitted by oral genital sex, rectal sex, and in rare cases, by kissing. They can be passed from members of one sex to another sex, or in the case of homosexuals, members of the same sex. Treatment is effective once the proper diagnosis is made. Usually, it's an adequate dose of penicillin or another antibiotic if someone's allergic to penicillin. Or if the bug is resistant, it might require a couple of visits to the doctor. But the dose required for syphilis is different than the dose required for gonorrhea. So don't believe that just because you got a shot or two for one disease, you're going to be cured of the other. And while we're on the subject of drugs, you ought to know that you can't take regular doses of antibiotics to prevent VD. Some people call these no-sweat pills. Forget it. It not only doesn't work, it may make the disease harder to treat. The diagnosis of syphilis or gonorrhea is confirmed by means of some fairly routine laboratory procedures. It's important for you to remember that you can't tell if you have syphilis from a gonorrhea test, and you can't tell you have gonorrhea from a syphilis test. Treatment is most effective if it's done in the early stages of either disease, but should still be done if the disease is discovered in later stages.
But I don't understand. I don't know why you have to know who I had sex with last.
Don't you think it's only fair to let the other person have a chance for treatment?
Well, won't he get in trouble?
No, he won't get in trouble. It usually takes 2 people to transmit venereal disease. That means there's someone else out there with the disease who isn't getting treated. One person gets cured and another doesn't. It's like a chain reaction. Even if you're cured one time, doesn't mean you've built up an immunity. Get back into the sexual chain, and you can get infected again. That's why it's important to find and treat everyone in the chain. Don't worry about your identity. Any information you give to help find the others is strictly confidential, and you'll remain anonymous. And the names of those you help locate will also be held in the strictest confidence. We don't want to find people to get them in trouble. We want to find them to help them and to break that repeating chain of disease. Treatment is good, but it's not the whole answer. Prevention also has a place.
So I went to my buddy, you see, who's really up on things. So I asked him, man, I don't want to get involved in this VD mess again. What should I do? You know what he said. Don't make love. Don't make love?
Yes, that's the best way to cut down on your chance of getting VD. Don't make love. If you can't, or don't want to abstain, limit your sexual contacts. You can't always tell by looking if someone has the disease, and if you have a great number of sexual contacts, well, it just increases the statistical likelihood that you'll get VD. However, it only takes one exposure from one person to get the disease. The best protection, though, is a prophylactic.
A rubber? I always think that crowd's my style.
But don't you think you owe that much protection to yourself? And don't you owe that much protection to your partner? Don't you owe it to somebody you just met? And don't you owe it to somebody you really care about?
I guess you're right, Doc.
The use of a rubber or condom can help prevent VD, if and only if it's used properly. To protect against VD, the condom must be put on before the penis enters the vagina. Unroll the condom. If you're using a condom without a reservoir tip, leave a little pouch at the end. Pinch the pouch and slowly unroll the condom down the shaft of the penis. It's important to remember that the condom must be kept in place. Check it every now and then just to make sure that it's still there. When you're done, grasp the condom with both hands, pull it off the penis, and throw it away. And be sure to wash your hands and genitals when you're through. Washing with soap and water helps a little bit in destroying the germs.
Sure, I got gonorrhea. I guess some of the girls in the barracks think it's immoral to get VD. I don't know about that. I do know it's immoral to get it and not get treated for it. And I do know it's immoral not to tell your partner about it.
Man, I have got a right to know if someone has just given me a disease.
And she's got a right to demand I protect her.
The Army is concerned about VD. It's been with us since the Continental Army. The best means of control we have are rapid diagnosis and treatment, not only of the person who has the disease, but all of his or her sexual contacts. Personal hygiene and the use of condoms are good methods of prevention, but education and caring about your sexual partner are better methods. The Army and the Army physician are powerless to stop VD unless you, the troops, the volunteers, know about VD and care enough to help in its eradication.